Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. This time we are down the Riviera lines in the wonderful Thomson Powerhouse Class 43. This is the Valenta pack one. So this scenario is set in 1999, hence I've got a bit of Reggie Rail, a bit of the Great Western livery as it was then, which is one of my favourite. Was this the Merlin livery, I think they called it? And I think there's a little bit of fag packet further down on it. Is that? We'll have a look. Yeah, there is. So yeah, cool little transition era one. This is the livery it was put in. I think this is the launch livery, wasn't it? Which is quite similar to the City Swallows. I can't really complain. That's why I like it. It's a nice Swallow 47 there with the AP Mark IIs. So it looks like it's going to be a nice run. Should we stop waffling and just get on with it? I think that's probably about the right thing to do, isn't it? Right, this is an ultra power scenario. I'm guessing it comes with the pack. I haven't checked, if I'm honest with you. It's holiday time again, and you must drive a mixed Great Western Merlin and fag packet HST between Exeter, St David's and Paynton on a pleasant summer's morning, Saturday morning. Year is 1999. It's a rapid 47, that. Alright then, 47. I haven't driven it in a little while, actually. Let's have some headlights on as well. What's that? I can never remember right with this, is it? So I don't know, I want it there, on the right hand side. We need to go to the back cab and put our ETS on. That was on. Still have a red. Oh, am I supposed to open the doors? I guess I probably am. Let's have a little look at the train while we're doing that again. I quite like looking down that. I do love what AP did with this pack. Even the little British Rail logo. I did notice that Brad Harding put this on, I think it was one of the 91 reskins. I think you can even just make out it says halogen there. They're very nice. So yeah, the Great Western, the Merlin livery, I'm going to double check it is the Merlin livery, but I'm pretty sure it is, was a worthy successor to Swallow for me. A worthy successor. I did quite like it. I was sort of really tempted by a HST scenario just now. I spent the day, actually funny enough, through work. I can't really explain how it ended up being through work, but I spent the day train spotting at Peterborough Station. I have never really been, well, that's a lie, I used to go to Peterborough Station quite a lot as a kid, but I mean as an adult I have not stood on a platform for that long without waiting for a train. So I was there for a good 3 or 4 hours, and I won't lie, I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the lads I was with took a lot of photos, and I even sort of got right into taking some photos as well, funnily enough. All rubbish, I'm no photographer whatsoever. But being very close to the 43s and knowing that these are going out of service, just really, there was something really sort of a bit special about it, really. And the 91s, and hearing them going in and out. And I remember the 91s being new. Yes, I was only sort of 5 or 6 or 7, but they were clean, crisp, efficient, super fast, special. And I'm standing there thinking there's going to be very, very few of these left here in 2 years' time. HSTs, even less of those. So it was special. And I also had the pleasure of hearing the East Midlands trains, the VP 185 power cars they've got on hire. Because that came past and we went and stood right next to that as it pulled away. That does make a nice sound. It does. It really does remind me of an old Valenta. I know the engines are very, very similar, but it really does remind me of it. It was also absolutely peeing it down for a good bit of that. And just watching the 91 struggle pulling away. Even the 43s to a point, every 91 driver, apart from a guy who was obviously quite newly qualified, I heard him having a conversation with the platform staff, and he was the only one that didn't put some sand down, and he was away fine. Everybody else was putting sand down, and even with sand, I was watching sparks coming from the rails at times. It was really interesting to sort of go with that more knowledgeable head and that adult head, instead of just being an awe at looking at these things, but really looking at techniques, especially with HSTs having these much lower windows. You can stand literally there and watch what the driver's doing before he pulls away. As much as that felt quite intrusive, I did sort of feel for the drivers, really. You guys have cameras in your face. There was guys with big cameras, there was guys with posh video cameras, there was people with tripods. And you're just trying to sit there. I mean, I'm watching quite a lot of these like guys having to stretch and that, and I'm thinking, get a bit of peace before you pull away, you know what I mean? Now these guys are lining up. I mean, I don't know if they were recording or not straight away, or taking pictures. Nice version set there. Well, the branding patch on actually. Oh yeah, I felt a bit sorry for him. So I was a little bit more courteous. Not to say that the other people weren't courteous, they were. It was actually quite, we saw the Perth City of Culture, whatever it is, power card HST, and one of the guys had come to video that. I think he'd come to video it pretty specifically because it was the only train he really took a bit of interest in and came and filmed it properly. But as we sort of walked away, you could see him sort of look really confused and a bit sort of like panicked, and he just sort of came running up to us both and just went, "What was the number of that power car?" And I was like, "Oh God, no, I don't know actually. I'd have to." He was videoing it on a. I didn't even see what kind of camera he had, like a hand camera, so I couldn't work out if he could look at the video to check or whatever. I think he just wanted to know it quickly, so I actually had to message Chris because I knew he'd know it off the top of his head. I'm not really a numbers man. I saw the celebrities. I tell you, what I do need to talk about. Now I've seen the Class 700s getting mixed reviews from people for all sorts of various reasons, in a multitude of railway press, whether that be forums, internet stuff, Facebook, YouTube, or rail press as in magazines. And I didn't really like them. I really did not like the look of them. But I saw one in the flesh on Friday and got quite a bit of time. It sat on platform 3 for a good while, then buggered off to carriage sidings. Oh, that was C, not B. Carriage sidings and back. And then came back into the platform. In real life, I quite like the look of the front end of them. I really do. I was the snow plough down the front and the underneath, or object deflector, whatever they want to actually call it, air dam, you name it, is really makes the front end look a that bit better, and it puts it more in line with its concept drawing, which is what I liked. What does upset me, I'll show you on this. Oh, that is just the morph board for the speed limit, isn't it? Yep. So on a Mark III, underneath here, you have a lot of the air conditioning stuff and that sort of thing. Funny enough, that's why you can smell the brakes. If the driver doesn't time his braking correctly, and there's a certain knack to it, you end up with a very stinky carriage because the aircon sucks in all the brake smell. But it looks pretty. It's all enclosed. It all looks nice. Modern units do not have any of this fairing under here. Yeah. So especially the EMU stuff, they just sort of let it hang. Now I know it makes maintenance easier. And the railways have done that for donkey's years. If you even look back to the A4s when they had their fairings over the wheels removed to make maintenance easier, and then when they got rid of most of the fairings off lots of things, a lot of the streamlining came off lots of things to make maintenance easier. 317s never had it, but stuff from the era, 321s didn't, and 442s did. Networkers did, because they all stored stuff under here, and they just thought, well, we'll cover it in, so it looks nice. .700 doesn't have it, and it annoys me. I saw something else the other day as well. What else did I see that didn't have the underframe stuff? And I even left a comment saying, can't remember what it was, but that was similar. Hope they've got something to put underneath it. I think it just makes units, especially multiple units, it makes them look unfinished. I don't know if that's just me. But yeah, the Class 800 again, not the 800, the 801 is it? I always get this wrong with these, I haven't really studied them enough to know about them. I think it's the 801. That went past me. I didn't really get a good look at that. That went down on platform 1, I think, and I was over on 6. I saw the 90 set. The first time I'd seen the DB Schenker Red 90 as well. That looked pretty smart. It's nice seeing a 90 on the East Coast Main Line. And seeing them all in red is almost, and I say this very loosely, almost Rail Express Systems-esque. Saw the Battle of Britain 91, Scotsman DBT. Overcook this, nah, should be fine. Yes, I saw lots of nice proper East Coast stuff, and of course a huge amount of 170s and 158s. I tell you what else I enjoyed seeing, because I hadn't seen them for ages. They used to come past me all the time on the Cambridge Ipswich line, was 153s, and they haven't since the 170s took over. And it was nice seeing the 153s. I did enjoy hearing those pull out. And what did I get there on? I did a 365, then a 170. Then on the way back we had a 158 and a 387. And those 387s I just have no interest in whatsoever. From a passenger point of view, the ride is awful. Truly, truly awful. Is there an HST stop board further up there? Yeah. We'll run a little bit late, so I'm just going to stop it there. It's not going to make much difference just because of the... Not going to get all the carriages on anyway. A bit more fag packet for us. these coaches here, a guy that I've followed on YouTube for a long time, just he does some quite cool local train spotting stuff for me, so it's quite nice to see what comes and goes. I think it's based sort of Royston anyway. It's called 365 Lance. It's worth a shout if you like a little bit of what's going on around Cambridge stuff. He put a video of these up actually just the other day, literally. I haven't watched the full video. I think it's called Blast from the Past or something. It's from 2005. Is it sometime? When was it? I'm gonna have to look now. I started saying that like I really remembered what it was, and then realised I really didn't. So I'm going to look and see. So he's actually just uploaded a train of one of the Barrington Spoil trains going in. There's a Cambridge North video, and it was 2015. It's called Roll Back the Times, Dawlish Warren Railway Carriages, 31st of the 10th, 2015. Worth a shout. Worth a shout. Seems like a nice young fella, does some half decent videos. Let's see. I've also, this will be my first video up since I've got back from Cornwall as well. I know we're not in Cornwall now, but we're on that sort of way. That was pretty untrain related. Not much I can say about that. But as a lot of you probably know, I also have quite a big thing about boats. And I saw lots of lovely boats when I was there. And my favourite Tamar class lifeboat, which is the Padstow lifeboat. Tamars aren't really my favourite, Sevens are my favourite, but the Padstow lifeboat is nice. Now we're going to stop at Dawlish, so I'm not going to go too fast. I'm actually quite enjoying this era to be driving in. I mean, this was when I was 99, yeah, definitely platform ending at times. I say that loosely. I went and looked at train cabs. I didn't care about numbers. It's a real transition era. See, I always just think of them as everything being gone, everything decent being gone by then. And as much as I like Central Train's livery nowadays, it just plagued me everywhere I went. All I saw was Central Train's livery. And I suppose on the East Coast, everything was painted pretty quickly. GNER had a pretty strict policy about getting things painted. Central Train's pretty much painted a lot up. It didn't really. There had a lot that was left in sort of hybrid liveries for a long while, but the stuff that was in and out of Peterborough quite a lot, and even Cambridge, tended to be in the Central Train's green. Nice. Nice. Kind of wish sometimes that we had that little... Do you remember it from BVE? It was like the little line that showed you where you were, and then you got how many metres you overrun or underrun by. Quite like that. I'm talking. I tried not to do anything Great Western as well because we're like 4 days away from Great Western Express. Seem a little bit sluggish. Just be a bit naughty and pull away really fast. Just want some of that clag. I also realised how well modelled the clag was on this. Stand next to all those HSTs the other day, it really was really noticeable how well Armstrong Powerhouse have recreated that. Also saw a Class 70 in the flesh, which was ridiculously smoky, ridiculously. Now, let me know in the comments below if that's pretty normal for them. If you go on over to the Facebook group, I'll probably put all the photos of the day that I took up, and you'll see the 70. It's a really crap picture. You'll see even the aftermath of the clag. It's still pretty dark by then, so it was jet black. So I don't know if it was sort of like a turbo issue or anything like that. Next stop is Teignmouth in 2 miles. And saying it right this time. Thank you for all the people that corrected me in my last video, much appreciated. As I said previously, it's one thing that does my head, and if I hear people mispronouncing places on videos, it drives me nuts. So thank you very much for correcting me, guys. After Teignmouth, you know, but Torquay painting. I must actually go and visit this station in real life. Oh, cool, 47. Nice cross-country service. I love those AP Mark IIs. So that was a blatant overrun. That's another thing, talking of it, that I noticed as well, that drivers tend to stop they don't all stop at the same spot. There's some quite varying amounts, and then other ones were pretty bang on. Now you notice me pulling away in notch 3. Quite a while ago, I think it was just when the MTU pack had come out, I spoke with a few guys who were first Great Western drivers, HST drivers, one of them being pretty famous on a few of the HST groups, and they told me sort of how they go about driving their HSTs, how they pull away, and all of them pulled away in step 2. But none of them that I'd spoken with at the time could answer me about what they did with the Valenta, because none of them were really old enough to do the Valenta. Well, on Friday I got chatting to another HST driver who did remember the Valentas, and he said his biggest difference between the MTUs and the Valentas is he used to start off in step 3 on a Valenta and step 2 in an MTU. So that's why I've been trying to start in step 3. In the politest possible terms, he said it just gave it a little bit more of a kick up the backside to get it going. A marker on that. That was silly of me. I should have noticed that right at the start. Give it some beans before noon, Abbott. So yeah, all being well, 4 days time, well, whenever you watch this video, from when I've recorded the video, it is 4 days time. So if you're watching this in 6 months time, don't go, it's already been out for ages. I know that. 4 days time we will have Thomson World Great Eastern Expressway. Is it Expressway? It's called Express Great Eastern Express. And I won't lie, I'm a little bit excited about it. In fact, I'm not massively excited about it. But jump here. My worry is, though, is that sort of transition phase between simulators. I hated it. It never seemed to happen with Flight Sim, because Flight Sim always tended to be better. Every time I upgraded, it tended to be better, but it sort of held along the same lines of things. Going from things like BVE, MSTS, then on to what was then Rail Simulator, which is this. That was a really horrible transition for me. I did not like it one bit. The lack of content, it didn't feel right just because I was so used to driving MSTS. It was a pretty hideous experience. Now, I don't even class CSX Heavy Haul as anything. I'm sure you've all seen my videos on it. I have probably played it in total about maybe 50-60 hours, and that has been me purely trying to get it running as best I can, or checking out different aspects of the simulator itself, not necessarily either the traction or the route. And I know I'm going to have that really horrible transition again with this Great Western Express. I hope it's easier, and I hope their reason for delaying it was to make it as bug-free as possible. The release, even the beta release of Train Sim World, was a farce. It was an alpha, and then the actual release of CSX Heavy Haul was a beta, and then they have literally updated it since then, and it's now supposedly not too bad. Oh, I've come in too fast. Oh, come on. So, I mean, jury's still out. I'm not slating it before it comes. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'll be honest with you, if I can literally get the sort of level of switchable detail in the cab that even the GP38 or whatever it is has, I'll be very, very happy. If I'm stuck with really crappy exhausts and rubbish sounds like they are, though, it will be disappointing. It really will be disappointing. Frame rate wise, as long as I'm above 20, I'll be happy. I don't particularly expect to be. My specs are, well, my processor especially, are a bit retro now. So, we'll see. And I think my GPU, I've got the GTX 970, the Acer Strix one, and that is, I think it's their recommended or their minimum. I'm not sure. I mean, if you go back and look at my CSX videos, and you'll see me fiddling with the settings within the game and showing that the frame rates make no difference whatsoever. So it's a bit of a joke. Things I'm really looking forward to seeing are like passenger view. It's not a view you can like just get on and off trains. Really like the idea of that for some reason. It's quite, just been able to walk through to different carriages, quite looking forward to it. I suppose it's because you can do things, well, for me I think it's because I'll be able to do things that you wouldn't normally be able to do in real life, hence the best bit of a simulator. So walking from one cab to the other, that's what I really hope is possible. I want to be able to walk through the engine room of the HST doing 125 mile an hour. I know you wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't want to really, you can, and fitters do it, mobile fitters still do it with a lot of ear protection. Yeah, but that's the sort of thing I want to do. want to take a stroll up to the buffet and like look out the little windows. Weird, isn't it? But they are the things I want to do. I'm desperate to get my hands on the 66. Again, is the engine room going to be detailed on that? You're going to be able to get through the clean air compartment, all those bits. Walk from cab to cab. So a lot more detail goes into that sort of thing than a hood locomotive, like the American stuff they have. They modelled one cabinet open. There's a lot more in a full-bodied locomotive. What do the Americans call them? Car bodies. Car-bodied. Right. Oh. I'd like to see if things like the pass comms work. All the emergency egress handles, all they work. Can you go into the toilet? Can you flush the toilet? Again, pretty pointless things that hold no bearing on how good it is, really. I mean, do I really give a monkeys if you can go into the toilet? I kind of do. I'd quite like to be able to step into the toilet. Because I want to simulate that. If you're going to simulate me going in the train and being able to go from one end to the other, I would like to go into the toilet. Do I think it will be a ridiculous amount of resources just to do something once, maybe twice, and the whole time I run the simulator? Yeah. But I mean, DTG at the moment have been pretty cool. I mean, the pasty. The pasty in the iMac is still tickling me. I could have turned the ATP on here, couldn't I? For a laugh. I know it doesn't have, the line doesn't actually have it, but with it being Western and all that. Oh yeah, ATP will have to be modelled in TSW as well. Interesting. How in depth will it be? Ooh. It's quite a nicely detailed route, this one, really. It's definitely one of DTG's better ones. I must really go and explore this part of the country by train before the HSTs go. I think I'd kick myself if I hadn't done it. Don't get me wrong, years and years I've holidayed in Devon, Dorset, Cornwall. But not by train. I think Poole by train, I think it's Poole by train. Weymouth. Exeter. And again, Torquay's a very, very pretty station. It's quite odd. I kind of have, strangely, I kind of have family in both Torquay, well, sort of Exeter, Paynton, this sort of way. Strangely enough, my dad's ex-wife's brother lives down here, and my stepdad's mum lives in Paynton. Torquay, I think, actually. There's a steam railway at Paynton as well, the preserved line. It's good looking, isn't it? I'll tell you what I think I like about this livery. As much as it was quite swallowy, it was sort of a more modern version of it. But it was clean when it was kept clean. Anybody that knows anything about railways knows that don't paint anything white because it gets covered in dirt ridiculously quickly. That was very true with these. They did look pretty damn dirty most of the time, but I think they did their best to try and keep them clean. Tell you what's funny, when I had my phone and I was like videoing the HSTs pulling out of Peterborough, I was trying to mimic what I could do in train sim. It's quite weird. And another thing I noticed, Mark IV coaches on good track are pretty much silent. Mark IIIs are a little bit noisier, but the Mark IVs you could literally hardly hear them. I mean, yeah, they do that sort of seagull squawk thing when they stop, but pulling away, silent. Where the track texture's changed here as well, it's quite nice. It's a route I don't tend to drive. This track does look slightly odd actually, I don't really understand it. Wooden sleepered, much older looking. This week you can expect a fair few videos from me. I've got quite a fair amount of recording time this week to try and get on top of everything. I'm a bit delayed on a few other little bits and pieces. Just due to holiday commitments, I had my power line adapter for my internet out to the shed go wonky the other day, and that needed faffing with for hours. So there's been a few bits and pieces that helped me up, but we should be all back to normal as of the end of this week. I've still got the brake on, that's why I was slowing down so well. no HST stop, but 8-car stop. I was going to say, I'm guessing we'd be well in there by then. Oh. I can't say I've noticed that painting it before. What? Is that like a... No? Anybody tell me what's in there in real life? Is it like an old motor rail place or something? Motor rail ramp? I don't know. I suppose it could have been, couldn't it? Well, no, because you wouldn't drive out of anywhere. You go through this, and that one looks older than the other. Oh, I don't know what it is. Ah! Did that just say the Peyton Steam Railway? Dartmouth Steam Railway and Riverboat. Right, okay. So it could just be a little depot. Anyway, let us know. Nice to know what it is. It's well modelled. Detailed. Oh, I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you what it looks like, to be fair. But it looks nice. Must now head to Goodrington Sidings to stable. Okay. This is facing backwards, I know, but lucky drivers can't get that view, innit? Because you would just thrash it every time. It sort of makes you thrash it. I think this is actually where you start on one of the other scenarios I did with the Virgin liveried HST. What a thoroughly enjoyable scenario that was. Not quite enough 125 running for my liking, but that's the route, not the scenario. I was pleased with that. Alright, and guys, thanks thanks ever so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you haven't already, and head over to my Facebook page, check it out, link will be in the description below. Once again guys, thanks a lot.